Although I really enjoy going to puja and doing my dharma practices, and although I have devotion and discipline, I feel the one thing that is really missing in my meditation is stable concentration. Either my thoughts are all over the place or I go into this dull blankness. What are the most effective methods that would work for me to achieve really stable one pointedness?
See, we can get the impression that everyone else in the shrine room is totally chilled and enjoying a really lucid meditation with all sorts of special, amazing insights or qualities being developed, but we're just a mess, really. Sitting here with sore knees, with a rumbling stomach, with all sorts of thoughts floating around, or yes, feeling kind of calm, but dull. And sometimes it goes into this dark, fuzzy limbo. Actually, the fact that we're able to, realize these things, these restlessness, this dullness, is actually a tremendous breakthrough. Because it means that we're becoming more aware. And so it's mindfulness. Without proper mindfulness, we're not gonna get that deep meditative state we call dhyana or anything like that. So that's what we need to develop first and foremost. Mindfulness and vigilance. In Tibetan we call it Tenpa Shijin. So if we try to get one-pointedness, like we preconceive a particular state that we gotta achieve, then we might miss how much progress we're actually making in developing the positive factors that bring about samadhi. Especially nowadays when we live in such a goal-oriented society. So what's important is to focus, to focus our energy, our mind on the positive factors that will lead to a really perfect, a really pristine one-pointedness meditation. So first of all, we need to fully place our energy, our attention on our chosen meditation, whatever that is. In the Mahayana tradition, we often favor a very, an especially virtuous object that we visualize as it's more uplifting and positive. Like the Buddha, which instantly inspires peace. Now, if you can do that, of course, if you can do that, go for it. But I'll caution beginners. I'll caution beginners like myself that not only do we tend to be very goal-orientated, but I find that we also tend to be very stuck up here. So, we're so dependent on our smartphones, computers, or iPads or whatever, that this whole thing, it feels like a dead weight that we need to carry around with very little consciousness of. See, so if we neglect the core practices for close placement of mindfulness on the body, then in our everyday lives, then when we sit, it's a very dissociated experience. The usual thing I do to check if this habit might be the case is that I'll ask them, what do you feel in your lower back? Now, unless they have a serious injury or problem there. Other than that, they will say, fine. And I'm like, well, that's not telling me much. Describe it to me. And then they will say, oh, no, nothing special, it's just there. And then I know we got a problem. Because there's so many bones, there's so many nerves, there's so many muscles in the body. How can we not feel any sort of sensations in the back? That's because, like I said before, we're so stuck up here. So in that case, I really recommend to make friends with our bodies again. And let the mind ride the breath through the whole experience of body. And we can't closely place mindfulness on the body if the body is just a few localized tensions knotted together with a visual impression on our inner movie screens. So let the breath up and down, go through up and down through the whole body. And, notice the sensations, the fluid sensations, the warm sensations, and so on, around the uncomfortable bits. Or, the bits that associate with afflictive emotions. There is no real boundaries between all of them. So breathe through all of that. And, breathe through all of that. Spread the warm into the cold or hard bits. And, with the breath. It's actually, it's like an inner body massage. For example, here's an example. When we feel angry, it's pretty obvious how that feels in the body. Our shoulders visibly rise up, they get tight, our faces flush, we breathe forcefully, and so on. But what does it really feel like? How does it feel like in the body when you don't feel heard by someone? You don't feel heard by someone you care about. What does it feel like when you're judged by someone you love? What about the helplessness of a friend that won't take your advice? And where does all that go? Getting to know yourself with mindfulness is the way to getting to know your emotive world a whole lot better. See, this enables us to release a lot of tension, a lot of residual tensions in the system that stays beneath the surface. So, and when we do that, attuning to the calm rhythm of the breath with mindfulness and vigilance, breathing through all of that, then we're creating the causes for deep meditation right there. And when we do that, then, not just sitting down, but in our everyday lives, then when we sit properly and focus, not just our attention, but our body energy too, then we can refine the close placement of mindfulness to the more concentrated focus on a visualized object without getting stuck somewhere between restlessness or and lethargy. It's like a one-pointedness that can be fully aware of a broader field and gently draw that into one point of focus, which is not about gritting our teeth or concentrating forcefully to stay on it. No, it's about channeling. It's about filtering energy and awareness. In other words, one-pointedness is not about pushing away what we don't want to feel, pushing away what we don't want to be with, mentally, physically, emotionally. Because that's like a boomerang that's going to come back and hit us in the butt later on. but rather it's about letting go. It's about letting go, not gain or get. It's about letting go the blocks, the disturbing patterns that prevent energy and awareness to come together. And together at one point is meditation that the Buddha talked about. So we need to be patient. We need to persevere, and then definitely we can bring the factors for samadhi together and actualize that beautiful, that blissful and natural experience.